はお前か。
そして君が光だな。え？
Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokemon Journeys episode 90, Dialga and Palkia, the Great Space-Time Clash. This was the 1175th episode of the Pokemon anime, as well as the second and final part of the so-called Winter Special. Just how special was it though? Let's break it all down. The episode picks up where we left off last time, with Ash running into his alternate universe doppelganger. I kinda picked up on this last time that the alternate universe versions of our main characters have different personalities from the characters we know and love, and that's definitely true for Ash, who is really timid and shy. Chloe calms things down by explaining who they are. Well, I say calm things down, but alternate universe Ash bursts into tears as soon as he sees Ash's Pikachu, since his own Pikachu has been devolved into an egg. The three of them decide to go to the Sandgem Town Pokemon Center, which just so happens to be where Professor Rowan is taking all of the devolved Pokemon eggs away from the Pokemon Center. Something seems fishy here though. Anyways, if you remember back to last episode, Go and the two Dawns were at this very same Pokemon Center, so they pop out and we get a big meeting between the two groups. Ash is just happy that Dawn is reunited with Piplup, but everyone else is still confused at what's going on. So the professor and his assistant were actually alternate universe Team Rocket, not the first time that we've seen James pull off a really convincing disguise as a professor, and what was notable here to me was how much reverence they gave to Meowth, who they leave behind to deal with the twerps while they get away with all of the eggs. Before any battling can actually happen though, Ash and Go's Pokemon both devolve right before their eyes, and the real Professor Rowan, well, the real alternate universe Professor Rowan, reveals that these time distortions are affecting humans too. Uh-oh. He says that going to the Spear Pillar could be the best place to potentially reach Dialga and Palkia, but when Ash calls out Gengar and Dragonite to help transport them there, they immediately devolve. It happens a lot in this episode, and it's really cool seeing our heroes' Pokemon devolve, even though technically it's supposed to add suspense and urgency to the episode. Anyways, Go has some flyers that haven't evolved yet, so they hop on them and set out for Spear Pillar, with Go trying to make a call to someone along the way. In case you were wondering what the regular Team Rocket were up to since they jumped through that gate, well, they're feeling the same effects as everyone else, with Wobbuffet devolving and Meowth losing his ability to talk using human speech. Our heroes have reached Spear Pillar. I am actually really surprised that I called that this place was Spear Pillar back from that trailer over a month ago. This would not have been how I pictured Spear Pillar looking like in the anime. Anyways, a gate appears here which everyone jumps through. Back in Sandgem Town, our alternate universe friends were left behind, but it turns out that the phone call Go sent earlier was actually to himself, with a very capable Go and Chloe showing up along with similar body armor to the ones alternate universe Team Rocket were wearing, which negate the effects of Dialga's time distortion. I guess this Chloe is some kind of super genius, and alternate universe Go is certainly more self-confident than regular Go, but I'm still wondering where these two have been this whole time. Did Ash and Dawn never meet Go and Chloe in this world? And if that's the case, how did alternate universe Go and Chloe learn about Team Rocket and the time distortions? No time to think about that now though. The group that jumped through the gate atop Spear Pillar have entered into this new world where Dialga and Palkia are fighting, and it looks really weird how this is causing their powers to go affect the outside worlds, but it is clear that the red chain is really what's causing all of this. The twerps are not alone in this world. Alternate universe Team Rocket are here too, along with all of the Pokemon and eggs that they've stolen. Before a big epic battle can ensue, it looks like the time distortions are much stronger and quicker here, causing Pokemon to devolve at a very fast rate. And no, I have no clue why Go's Aerodactyl devolves into an egg when it really should have reverted back into an old Amber. Alternate universe Team Rocket do the thing where the evil villains grandstand and explain their master plan, which as expected hinges on the red chain, which they say holds the power of Arceus. While they're wasting their time doing this, our alternate universe friends arrive, with Go leading the charge to save the day. Everyone gets together and comes to the conclusion that they need to somehow cut the red chain in order to stop all of this chaos, and this was when alternate universe Ash sent out his Infernape to try and cut the red chain, but its Flare Blitz didn't even make a dent. The others are busy battling Team Rocket, and the two Chloes have their Eevee copycat Piplup's Bubble Beam, causing Team Rocket's equipment to malfunction. I still have have so many questions about how alternate universe Chloe knew so much about the situation. This breakthrough is made immediately irrelevant though when Dialga sends off a huge burst of energy which just breaks through the protective armor by itself. This stops Team Rocket in its tracks and the entire group gets blasted off again, although their alternate universe catchphrase is "We're going back to HQ." This big burst of Dialga's power also devolves everything in sight, but for a brief second we get to see Go Sobble, so it was all worth it in my opinion. Our heroes are now little kids thanks to Dialga. They're powerless now that their Pokemon are gone, but it was kind of funny hearing them all speak like little kids. As they try to think of how they can stop the legendary Pokemon from fighting, some gates open up and allow some other people to see and hear them, and it looks like everyone decided to help the kids however they can. The idea they come up with to save the day is, praying to Arceus. Yeah, really, they all start praying, and the people watching through the gates do the same. This kind of reminded me of the ending of the Necrozma arc, where everyone shared their energy with Necrozma through the Ultra Wormholes, but since Sinnoh mythology is based on religion and creationism, I guess praying made more sense. This actually works. I guess Arceus heard their prayers and kind of appears. It's more like a projection of Arceus, not the real deal, but anyways, it's enough to break the red chain, and this calms down Dialga and Palkia, and they get to work reverting things back to normal after all of the damage they caused. The end of this episode wraps things up very quickly. After getting sent back to the alternate universe, everyone's Pokemon start to turn back to normal, although I was hoping for Gozintelion to just remain a Sobble, but no, I can't have my wish. At least it was cool to see everyone happy about their Pokemon coming back to them though. Palkia steps in and transports Ash, Go, Dawn, and Chloe back to their world, not before we get one final send-off between the real world group and their alternate universe counterparts, and Tech Wizard Chloe even says that the net might just connect them somehow. I don't know how that would work, but I wouldn't put it past alternate universe Chloe to figure it out. Upon arriving back in the real world, they all see Cynthia and decide to run towards her like they're all little kids who just saw their mom or something like that. I'm really not sure why they were so excited to see Cynthia, but anyways, the narrator draws things to a close by doing an abbreviated version of how Pokemon and humans live together and how they will continue to grow and bond together in the future. I'm giving this episode a 9 out of 10 rating. I was conflicted on what to rate this episode. I'll be curious to hear what you all thought about it down in the comments, but I landed on a 9 because ultimately I thought it was better than the last episode and it was a suitable conclusion to this big dramatic winter special. Was it the best episode it could have been? Well, that's hard to say because so much happened in this episode that it seems like they could have easily stretched this out to being a 3-part arc. What we got was really good, but I still left with a few unanswered questions. I already mentioned before how it was very curious to me how alternate universe Go and Chloe made their appearance. Why weren't they there from the start? Did Ash never meet Go and Chloe in this universe? And if that's the case, then how did Go and Chloe know about this space-time cataclysm? When they were in Dialga and Palkia's world, and alternate universe Ash sent out his Infernape, he called it his ace. We don't know where this Ash was at in his Pokemon journey, but is it possible that this alternate universe Ash has never made it past Sinnoh yet? I don't know, and I don't think I ever will know, so let's move on. The climax of the story was that when things looked pretty dire for our heroes, it was prayer that saved the day. This is not the time and place for me to give my thoughts about religion, although that would be quite the video, but staying on topic here, I do stand by what I said earlier about how praying to Arceus made a lot of sense given the situation. They were out of all other options and could really only pray to the Pokemon that is considered a god. It all fits in with Sinnoh's mythology. I thought that an actual Arceus was going to show up, not this weird looking projection. I'm not sure why a real Arceus didn't appear if I'm being honest, but maybe they're saving that for some other role sometime later in the series. We are less than 2 months away from Legends Arceus releasing, so maybe it will tie into the story then. Last part about this episode that I wanted to talk about was the ending, which was very rushed. It did give us Go Sobble, if only for a brief moment, so that's enough reason to celebrate in my book. Cynthia and Dawn ended up playing somewhat minimal roles in this winter special. Well, that's unfair on Dawn, but certainly they could have done more with Cynthia. All she really did was help teach Ash about Dialga, Palkia, and Arceus, and then stop alternate universe Team Rocket at the end of the previous episode. Dawn was one of the focal points of this 2-part special, though. She may not have done too much of interest by herself, but she was a main character again, and that's enough for me. I doubt we'll see Dawn again in Pokemon Journeys, but we know Cynthia still has a role to play in the World Coronation series, so it's not like this was the last we'll ever see of her. I get the sense that this episode, especially the rushed way it wrapped up this special, probably garnered a mixed response from everyone. I really liked it up until the ending, which I didn't dislike per se, but overall I thought this was really good, just maybe not the perfect ending. That's enough talk about this episode. Let's see how the anime is going to follow up on this two-part special. It looks like Ash and Go are headed to Galar to investigate this place called the Ghost Train, and it kind of looks like Ash is going to get possessed by a Spiritomb or something like that. I'm not too sure what's going on here, but Alistair will be debuting, so that's cool, and my guess is that the point of the episode is going to be Go trying to catch this Spiritomb. In case you missed it, earlier this week I put out a discussion video analyzing the pros and cons of Dynamax, Z-moves, and Mega Evolution now that Ash can use all three, and this video was doing pretty well until out of nowhere I got this email from YouTube saying that they changed the video settings to have it made for kids. This is actually a big deal because videos that are quote-unquote made for kids get recommended differently to people, it limits monetization, and it turns off all comments on the video, which sucks because the whole point of a discussion video like that is for all of us to discuss the topic, and it's really difficult to do that without any comments. Anyways, I got that issue fixed now, but just in case YouTube decides to try and label my stuff as made for kids again in the future, I came up with a new intro that should help prevent that from happening. Let me know what you guys think about this. Hey everyone, it's motherfucking Mark. Yeah, that ought to do it. Anyways, I've got more videos coming this week as well. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those, and be sure to like this video if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.